Greetings. My name is Eddie Adams, and I am the owner of Kingdom Realty Group. And we are brokered by United Real Estate, the best real estate brokerage company here in South Carolina. So if you're watching this video, you are thinking about purchasing a home, or you may be even in the process of purchasing a home. So in this video, I will walk you through the steps that you'll need to take to make your home ownership dreams come true. Now, hold 1 second while I share my screen. Okay, so I will discuss what working for you means. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, why you should always use a realtor, my goals for you. We'll talk about the initial paperwork that you'll need to sign, and also we'll dive into your path to home ownership. All right, so a little about myself. Number one, and most importantly, I am a man of integrity. Now, I'm going to always tell you the truth. It may not always be what you want to hear, but it will be the truth. Number two, I'm client focused. So it's more than about just getting you in a home, but making sure that the process is as smooth as possible and that you're pleased of the overall process and also the home that you select. Number three, I'm a professional. I always conduct myself as such. Number four, I am a hard worker. This is what I do all day, every day to support my family. Number five, I am a realtor. So you may not know that all realtors or all agents aren't realtors. Now, basically, what the realtor designation does is it gives you additional assurances that I'm going to hold myself to the highest moral and ethical standards in industry. So if you feel that I'm not doing that, you can report me to the board of realtors and they can actually take my license away. All right, so let's discuss why you should always use a realtor. Number one, it's free of charge to the buyer. Now, in the state of South Carolina, it's already written into our contracts that the buyer's agent is going to be compensated by the seller's agent. All right. Number two, regulations, real estate regulations in the state of South Carolina typically change annually. So it's my job to stay abreast of all of those changes and make sure that they're conveyed to you. Number three, I have access to every home that's listed on the market, so I can help you find the right home for you and your family. Number four, so it's my job to write the contract on your behalf and to also negotiate the best possible price and the best possible conditions for you and your family. All right, so my goals for you, obviously the best price. Number two, you shouldn't have to deal with any hassles. That's my job. Number three, it's the best time frame for you and your family. So you'll never be rushed, pushed, or prodded. It's all about you and what works best for you. Number four, it's my expectation to exceed your expectation. So I want to provide a service worth telling others about. So let's talk a little bit about agency. So the state of South Carolina mandates that I tell you that as your agent, there are 6 basic legal duties that I owe you because you're my client. Number one is obedience. So I consider myself to be a real estate nerd. So I'm always scouring data. I know what's going on in our local market, and I will convey those things to you. Now, I will give you advice, but at the end of the day, you make the final decisions. The second one is loyalty. So we'll be working with different professionals. We'll be working with other agents. We'll be working with lenders. We'll be working with attorneys, surveyors, potentially home inspectors. So it's my job as your agent to be 100% loyal to you. All right. The third thing is disclosure. If there's anything that I find out about a potential home that you're interested in, or even the seller, I have to disclose those things to you. The fourth one is confidentiality. So anything that we discuss is confidential. The fifth one is accounting and skills. Any monies that change hands between us, there won't be any. But if there were, I'd have to adhere to the state law. All right. And the final thing is reasonable care and skill. Just means I have to be competent in my job responsibilities. And I can assure you, I am competent. All right. So there are multiple types of agency relationships, but we'll just focus on single agency. Just means that I represent you in the purchase of your home. All right. So before we get started, we will go under an agreement. That agreement is called an exclusive right to buy agreement. So that agreement, I agree to work with you, you agree to work with me, and it lays out certain stipulations. So the stipulations that it will lay out, those 6 basic legal duties that I told you, it'll typically have a time frame associated with it. It'll also indicate that you will not owe any money to the brokerage company, that we will be paid from the seller's agent. Now, Although the state of South Carolina mandates that we go under this agreement, if at any point during our arrangement you don't feel comfortable moving forward, we can tear that up. Obviously, I don't want to work with anyone that doesn't want to work with me, and I wouldn't want you to work with anyone that you don't want to work with. So we have to do it by state law, but if at any chance we need to reconsider that, then that will be no problem. All right, so the first step in the home ownership process is to get financed. So that's when you will consult with a mortgage broker or a bank. Now, I prefer mortgage companies because they're a little more flexible, and this is all that they do. So you get more of a specialization there. Now, basically what they're going to do, they're going to look at your credit score and they're going to look at your debt to income ratio to determine if you qualify and how much you qualify for. Now, if you don't have a lender, rest assured, I have plenty that I've worked with in the past that have great reputations and they can get the job done for you. All right. Now, the second thing is once your loan officer gives us what's called a pre-approval letter, that gives us access to every home that's on the market. That also defines what our purchase price needs to, what range it needs to stay in. So obviously, if you're approved for $200,000, we won't look at homes above 200,000. All right. So that will help us kind of define the homes that we're going to be searching through. Now, so I will send you the homes that meet the criteria that you've given me. You'll probably be looking as well. So once we decide on your top 3 homes, we're typically going to do 3 at a time. So we'll go out and view those properties, and it won't take long. Typically, it's going to be on the first showing or set of showings that you're going to find a home that you want to move forward on. Now, when you do that, I will move forward and estimate the fair market value of the home. So I'll look at market data. I'll look at homes that are very similar to the one that you're interested in to see what's sold in the last 3 months and what it sold for. Now, I will be using this data to give you advice on what I think your offer should be. Now, remember, I work for you, and my first duty is obedience. So I give you advice, but you make the decision. All right. So then I go about writing the offer on your behalf. Now, including in the offer is something called earnest money. All right. So earnest money is money that you put down, and it's kind of letting the seller know that you're going to operate in good faith. So one of the things that happens when the seller agrees with your offer, they're making a commitment to you. So they're removing their home off the market. Nobody else can see it. No one else can make an offer on it. So they want to make sure that if they do that, if they made that commitment to you, that you're going to operate in good faith. So earnest money is money that you put down. It goes to the attorney's escrow account. It just sits there. And more than 95% of the time, that money is going to go towards your down payment or closing costs. Now, there are ways that you can get that money back. Let's just say when you have inspections on the home, it turns up something that you're uncomfortable with, you can decide to walk away. Let's just say for some reason that your loan isn't approved, you can get your earnest money back. Let's say you ask the seller to make repairs based upon your inspection reports and you guys cannot come to an agreement, then you can decide to take your earnest money and walk away. Now, those are the ways that you can decide to walk away. Now, there's one more that I didn't mention. Let's say the home does not appraise. You put in an offer for $200,000, it appraises for less than that. You have the option of walking away, or you could ask the seller to come down to that price. But those are ways that you can walk away with your earnest money. Now, there are ways that the seller can petition the courts or the attorney for your earnest money. Let's just say you decide in the middle of the contract to quit your job. Now, the seller can say you didn't operate in good faith. You knew you were under contract and you quit anyway. Let's just say you decide to make a large purchase before you close on this home. You go out and buy a new car, or you charge up your credit card so you can't be approved because your debt to income ratio is too high or your credit score dropped. Then they can say that you didn't operate in good faith. So those are some of the ways that the seller can petition the courts for you. Now, as I stated, more than 95% of the time, that money is just going to go towards your down payment and closing costs. Now, here recently, earnest money has been about 1% of the purchase price. So if you're purchasing a $200,000 home, you may want to have about $2,000, just to use for earnest money. Now, it doesn't have to be that. It is negotiable, but that's what the current market has been dictating. So now when both parties agree with every aspect of the contract, we have an official ratified contract by the state of South Carolina. That means there are only certain ways that you can get out of the contract, and we identified those. Now, once we have an official ratified contract, that starts our time running for what's called our due diligence period. So you have 10 business days to do your due diligence. That means you can have any inspection that you want. Now, most buyers are going to get 3 inspections. That's the home inspection, that's going to be the HVAC inspection, and the termite inspection. Now, none of these are mandatory. Unless you're a veteran, they mandate that you have the termite inspection. But the inspectors are going to go out. They're going to inspect the homes. I recommend that they do. Once again, they're not mandatory, but I recommend if you're going to spend all this money on a home, let's find out what's out there in the home that we can't necessarily see. All right. So the inspectors will provide you with inspection reports. Now, let me just tell you that they will find things. They get paid to find things. I had a brand new home built and I had over 60 items on my inspection report. So don't allow that to alarm you. So we will go through the report to look for major things. Major things are going to be things that cost a lot of money, or they may be health and safety related. So we'll go through there. If there's something that you're uncomfortable with, you can decide to walk away, or you can decide to ask the seller to make repairs. Now, the seller doesn't have to make repairs, but you can ask them to. And typically the buyer and the seller will negotiate back and forth on the repairs and come to some sort of agreement. So that process will take place during or right after the due diligence period. Now, the bank is also going to send out an appraiser to appraise the home. So they want to know, if they give you $200,000 for this purchase, they want to know that the home is worth 200, just in case that it has to be sold. They want to make sure that they can get their money back. Now, once the inspections have taken place, we've come to an agreement with the seller. If they've decided to make repairs have been made, they will let us know that. We will send the home inspector back out to take a look, make sure that things are done properly. If everything is good, we move towards closing. As a buyer in the state of South Carolina, you have the right to select your own closing attorney. If you don't have any, rest assured, I have some that are very good, great reputations, and they can get the job done for you. So at closing, they will be walking you through all of the paperwork that you're going to be signing. So basically, you're transferring everything from the seller's name to your name, and you'll also be signing some additional loan documents. So closing typically lasts 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And at the end of that process, when the bank sends the funds, you will receive your keys and we will say, congratulations, you are now a new homeowner. So that is the process. That's the buying process from start to finish. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at any time. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to working with you in the near future. Have a great day.